I am Paused, and this is Paused Opinions on the Isle of Varma, which is the first of the two-part DLC for Pokemon Sword and Shield. And this is going to be more of a review. Yeah, let's go with that. That's what this is. This is going to be a review of the Pokemon Sword and Shield DLC, the Isle of Varma. So, the DLC starts with you taking a trip to the mythical hidden Isle of Varma, which turns out to be about a 5-minute bird ride. There, you're greeted by your rival for the Isle of Varma, either Avery or Clara, depending on which version you're playing. But don't be fooled by their poison and psychic type kits respectively. They aren't actually gym leaders, oh no. They're just scrubs that have unevolved Pokemon, which is exactly why they've come to the Isle of Varma, to train at the Master Dojo run by Mrs. Honey and her husband, Dojo Master Mustard. And as luck would have it, you're the newest student. Your training at the dojo consists of 3 trials, and the reward for the person who completes these trials is what Master Mustard calls the secret armor. But before the trials can begin, your rival still needs their uniform. But as Mustard is about to give it to them, it gets yoinked by some fast Slowpoke. And you have to get the uniform back, because, plot twist, Mustard let those Slowpoke out, and this is your first trial. So you chase down and kill the Slowpoke, get the uniform, and as a reward for your violence, speed and momentum, Honey offers you the choice between a Bulbasaur and a Squirtle, both of which can Gigantamax. Unfortunately, Charmander wasn't an option, or I wouldn't have hesitated to not pick that trash fast enough. For your next trial, Master Mustard wants you to follow him into the forest. No, not for any malicious reasons, he just wants you to pick magic mushrooms for him. Luckily for you, he tells you exactly where to find them. And yeah, your rival found them legit, but they only have 3 not fully evolved Pokemon, and you have a level 100 Grimmsnarl, so them's yours mushrooms. And it's time for some soup. Now for the last, ultimate, final trial. Since you and your rival were the only one to finish the second trial, you must battle each other. Again. But this time you can both Dynamax, and why am a Pokemon poisoned? Oh, and your rival has a fully evolved Galarian Slowbro. Nice Mega Man arm. Ha! You cheated! And you're still lost. So, you beat your rival and completed the 3rd and final trial. And for doing so, you've earned the secret armor of the Master Dojo, which turns out to be the mythical Pokemon exclusive to the Isle of Varma, Kubfu. So what's next for you and your new companion? Are you going to go train and level up, or we took it to all the islands? The weather was great. Here's the postcard. Where did you think I'd been for 3 months? After your bonding session with Kubfu, Master Mustard thinks you're ready for the Tower of Two Fists, the Tower of Water, the Tower of Darkness. However, choose wisely, as you can only choose one of the 2 Towers of Two Fists. Mouthful. And depending which you select, it affects the type Kubfu will evolve into. The Tower of Waters will make Kubfu evolve into a water and fighting type, and the Tower of Darkness will make Kubfu evolve into a fairy type Pokemon's bitch. You can guess which one I picked. But before you can enter the tower, you must make sure Kubfu is the only Pokemon in your party. And he's at least level 70. Now you've spent all your small, medium, large and extra large XP candy getting Kubfu to level 70, it's time to enter the Tower of Waters. Or that other one for some reason. And inside, 5 floors, each with a trainer, await you and Kubfu. and once you reach the 5th floor, Master Mustard awaits you, and unveils his true form for a Kubfu mirror match. With your Kubfu riding high for its victory, it's time for him to evolve into Urshifu. But don't worry, your journey isn't over just yet. You see, you have an Urshifu, but it can't Gigantamax. Why? Because we need to find a way to cram Hop in, of course. You remember Hop, don't you? Your rival from the main game? Yeah, of course you do. Wanted to become a Pokemon champion like his brother, but he beat him, so he quit and became a lab nerd? Yeah. Hop. Why is Hop here? To research the Pokemon of the Isle of Armor, of course. And now, he's here to help you get Urshifu to Gigantamax. And how do you do that? Wow, by giving the Kung Fu Bear honey, of course. So you have to gather nectar, but nothing's that simple. So, you talk to a lost Petalil, find a Lilligant, guide it back to the Petalil, but don't go too fast or it'll get lost. You reunite the two, collect some nectar, but oh no, the nectar isn't very sticky, pretty watery. So now you have to find an Applin. Chase the Applin, but oh no, it ran off again, but it's okay, your head's feeling a bit moist because that Applin's nectar on you. But I don't think you'd describe it as sticky exactly. Applin's nectar wasn't it, Lilligant's nectar wasn't it. Come to think of it, they aren't really honey at all, are they? Hop then has the bright idea that to get honey, you should probably go to the island with honey in the name. So you shake the tree in the middle, and no joke, I thought it was going to explode. So you battle a Dynamax Vespiquen and get some of that sweet max honey. Now that your Urshifu has had its max soup and is capable of Gigantamaxing, it's time for your final battle with Dojo Master Mustard, culminating in a Gigantamax Urshifu mirror match. With Mustard using the Fighting Dark type Urshifu because you didn't pick that one. Because you aren't an idiot. And there you go. You defeated Master Mustard, get congratulated by the rest of the dojo, and have a bowl of max soup to celebrate. The end. Well, not of the video, just of the main story of the Isle of Armor. And there's a few things you can do after finishing the story, like there's 150 Alolan Digletts scattered around the island for you to find, but the only reward for doing so is different regional variants of Pokemon like Slowpoke. Instead you can give this Gold Digger Watts to fund her vending machine Kickstarter, and if you hit the 50,000 watt stretch goal, she'll put some lemonade into it. There's a few things you can do, mainly battles, but you can complete the new Isle of Armor decks, but I don't know what you get for doing that because I was too busy not making videos. So yeah, the main thing besides the story and the introduction of the new mythical Pokemon, and giving the Sword and Shield starters and the 2 Gen 1 starters not named trash Gigantamax forms, which messed up the entire VGC meta, was the reintroduction of 107 Pokemon, which is, give or take, only 22% of the 478 Pokemon that fell victim to dexit, and messed up the entire VGC meta. Oh, what's dexit? Well, that's when the Galar region declared independence and withdrew from the European Union. Wait. Dexit was when 478 of the 809 Pokemon from previous games were announced to not be in Sword and Shield. For reasons, well, that's a video for another day. So, overall, what are my thoughts on the Isle of Armor? Let's start with the positives first. Obviously the reintroduction of Pokemon, even if the trajectory suggests we're only going to see about half of the cut Pokemon return, but we'll have to see what happens as the Crown Tundra looms ever closer and the Pokemon Company gives us more information. Oh. The new Gigantamax Pokemon are cool. I mean, look at Blastoise, he's got 2 guns, now he's ready to take on an entire army of Apothicans. The Isle of Armor, I think, represents good world building, adding new environments to Galar and continuing the story of Sword and Shield. and tying itself in with you essentially just being compared to the prior undefeated champion of Galar. And Hop's inclusion overall is good, and I enjoy that they're continuing his story and his journey into becoming a Pokemon researcher, and overall making Hop more of his own character than just trying to be someone else. There's also a little Easter egg with Bede, hinting at a future rematch with him. So that's good. But now, onto the negatives. There aren't really a lot of negatives, but they can mainly be summarised into one word. Short. The length of the Isle of Armor is short, and it has a fair amount of filler, and that's reflected in the story of the DLC itself. Filler disguised as, say, namely the honey segment with Hop. And then, once you beat the story, there's not a whole lot to do other than complete the armor decks and find Digletts, which isn't even that difficult because the Isle of Armor itself isn't even that large. So exploration is also limited. Another aspect of the story that's underdeveloped is your rival. The character motivation's there with them wanting to become gym leaders, but that never really goes anywhere. Because once Hop shows up, you don't have any other interaction with Carla or Avery until the end of the story. So, do I think the Isle of Armor DLC is worth it? Not really. But, there isn't an option to buy the Isle of Armor separately. Instead, you have to buy the expansion pass, which includes the Isle of Armor and the second part of the expansion pass, the Crown Tundra, which should be coming out later this year. And we can only hope that that redeems it. Because personally, the Isle of Armor just feels rushed and underdeveloped. And overall, it's not bad, it just isn't enough, really. But anyway, here's to hoping. I have been paused, and this has been Paused Opinions on the Isle of Armor.